Hey, everybody, and welcome back to another exciting episode of the Bod Squad, the show where we talk about streaming technology. This is episode 289 on June 1st. Did I get that right this time? We are in June now?
I think it's officially June.
Okay, cool. June 1st, 2022. I am Clyde, and today I'm joined by Matthew Ross.
Hello, everybody.
Michael Aston.
Howdy, y'all.
And Mr. Jimmy Trammell.
Hey guys, how's it going?
Not too bad. What's going on with you guys?
Not much. We had a long weekend, which means I actually kind of caught up on sleep. At the same time, I stayed up too late. You know, that kind of, I can actually, sleep in and then find out later that, actually you're going to get up early and do some chores around the house and find out that, no, you should have not stayed up late the night before kind of situation. Yeah, I had a bit of that this weekend, but that's all good. Got some stuff done. Got worked more in my backyard and getting that project continuing along slowly, but ever moving forward. It's good stuff.
Rock on. Yeah, I had to come to grips with my, not mortality, the fact that I'm getting old.
Oh.
Yeah, I had a bit of a fall. And, used to be you just get up, you dust yourself off. I am still recovering from what was just a dumb fall outside. Yeah, getting old is dumb.
It's not for wimps, that's for sure.
That's true. Yes, we are at that age where it can just a little bit can be too much. If you carry something wrong, you lift something wrong, and then you get that that pain that it happens because you did the thing not quite correct, and then usually that would be like, it hurts, it'll be fine by tomorrow. And nowadays it's like, nope, it's gonna take a couple days before that starts feeling
better. My body's already so broken. I don't need more broken.
Well, see, now you guys are starting to understand why I drink so much wine.
I've always understood. That hobby is just too expensive for me. I choose to spend that money on other hobbies that may not ease the pain, but still make me feel good.
Yeah, I like to stick with just cocaine. It's a little too expensive for me.
See, that's why he lives in Texas, so he can easy access to the border.
Or what's the other one? Fentanyl. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
One too.
Just pick the fun week to stop sniffing blue.
Yeah. Just kidding, kids. Don't do drugs.
yes, please don't.
do that.
Too expensive of a
Yeah, that's why.
It's one of many good reasons. Other than that, I don't know. We've been lazy, as lazy as we could be this weekend. That's been a good thing.
That's good.
So,
all right. Well, what happened while we were out?
we start with Fubotv. Fubotv is offering new plans for their streaming service. This is very. All right, let's say I'm talking about Comcast. How much would you expect their plans to cost? Maybe they have an intro
around $100.
Right, and so they have plans that build up that maybe there'll be like a $70 plan and an 80 plan and a $100 plan and things like that. Fubotv is leaning into this and doing exactly that. They're offering the Pro, the Elite, and the Ultimate packages, all of which cost $70, $80, and $100 respectively. These do offer a whole bunch of channels. This is very much your cable replacement, even probably more so than your other ones like the YouTube TVs and the Hulu live streaming services. But they are offering 119 channels for the Pro, 177 base channels for the Elite, and 212 base channels for the Ultimate, plus a bunch of other channels and extras, including things like Showtime Plus and news and a couple other programs that they can throw into there, where that $100 one is trying to be as much of cable service as anything else there. It's an interesting choice of theirs, quite frankly.
I'm not really surprised because Fubo was originally the sports focused. They didn't have all the channels, but they had the sports. But during 2020, when there were no sports, they had to pivot and start adding channels.
Right.
Well, now that sports is back, they got to do something. They can't just keep the price the way it was and have all the sports and now all the channels. So, yeah, what used to be a attractive package, pun intended, is now looking like everybody else.
Well, I actually think this is smart because they're the first to do this. And whenever you have somebody who's switching, always say, okay, let's get off the cable. Let's see what else we can get. I don't need much internet because I get 30 megs down or something like that, enough to do my one TV or whatever. They're not really, you're not thinking about you need a lot of bandwidth. Okay, which service can provide all my channels? And out of all of them that can provide all of them, I bet you Fubotv is one of the few ones that actually provide a lot of these very niche channels out there that somebody would like. I really need to have the identification channel or whatever. They have all these various levels.
I'm curious.
Paying for it to carry. So.
I'm just curious to see how the Ultimate stacks up against YouTube TV, because YouTube TV is still sub 100, I believe. And I think it has most of this except Showtime. The Ultimate does include Showtime, 9 channels and on demand. So, yeah.
YouTube TV is $65 a month.
Yeah.
So I'm guessing that they offer a lot more of those channels that aren't on YouTube TV. I was just trying to see if there's a bunch of really like AE2 and A&E2 and those kind of channels that aren't on those other separate things that were on your cable box that I'm guessing that somebody somewhere really wishes they had access to.
Yeah.
Maybe Fubotv can provide it. And it looks like they're just paying for everything and saying, we'll just throw it all in one big bucket. If you want that again, you can have it this way. It's $100.
Yep. Yeah, I'm not saying this is bad or good. I'm just saying they're now starting to look like the others for the uninformed. That's all. What were you saying, Jimmy?
Well, I mean, I see they got the cloud DVR, but do they have any like the video on demand?
I'm sure that's there.
Yeah, that would be for the channels. Different channels will dictate whether or not there's VOD available. And, I'd say any of the channels that offer video on demand on the other platforms, you can pretty much guarantee that it's available here.
Okay. That's what I would expect. I think, the thing for me is, if you look at YouTube TV's pricing, they kind of break it down as a value deal for them. Their package is like $65 a month, which, they compare it to traditional services at about 110. So I guess what the question for me is, are the extra things that you're getting over a traditional service really valuable? Because for the person that isn't really big on that sport thing, the red zone and stuff like that, $100 or even $70 is a lot compared to probably $80 ish for a traditional plan with a bundle on your internet. The thing that I see as a concern is, like, for me personally, I have found internet-based TV systems to be less reliable than the traditional cable TV. You know, when I had Spectrum or AT&T Universal, I almost never had TV outages. There were occasionally some issues with internet and stuff, but almost never TV. And now I get problems with my TV every time there's any kind of issue with the internet. And sometimes when there's not, just because there's issues at the providers or whatever, maybe there's a pipeline issue or something. I don't know what's going on, but I have problems a lot more often now than I did before. That's my perception. So I feel like it was compelling when it was significantly less. Now that we're getting prices to be kind of on par and comparable to what traditional solutions provided, it doesn't seem like a worthwhile deal. It seems like it's actually a disadvantage.
Now, my question there, when you say not as reliable, you're talking about the live TV, the video on demand. You also have the same issues. Because for me, video on demand,
he's saying it's tied to his internet service. So if his internet is unreliable, then the TV is also unreliable since it's being provided over the internet. And that's what I was going to say is I haven't had any of those issues. I've had the typical cable issue that if my internet is down, my cable service would be down too, because it's the same line, same provider, or it would be the same line, same provider. So, but I also, I don't stream over the top very often, live content. So I wouldn't probably even notice if there had been issues.
Yeah. Same with me. And of course, you know, ever since I've switched over to the fiber, right, it's been pretty reliable, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
I mean,
it's
because having the same internet as your cable provider isn't always going to mean that it comes over the same pipe. It does that last, you know, little bit to your house, but the junctions often have separate lines for what they're sending through internet and cable. And so there's not always, there can be situations where your TV will be just fine and your internet will be bad.
Oh, sure, there can. I'm just saying that statistically, you're more probable to have an issue with cable that affects your internet than the other. That's all.
Yeah.
And it's one of those, your mileage may vary. It depends on your carrier, how reliable is your service, that kind of thing.
I agree. It definitely would vary. That's my experience here. I would say probably in the past, I haven't had that kind of experience, but ever since I've lived in Cedar Park, which is north of Austin, it has definitely been unreliable. The internet service providers out here are absolute garbage. I would gladly jump to any other solution and likely will go to Starlink when I feel like it's reliable and consistent enough.
Oh, I was confused there for a minute. You said Cedar Park and my brain went to Cedar Point. I was going to ask which roller coaster you live next to, but never mind.
All right, let's move on to Google TV and various TV manufacturers kind of moving along. Looks like the guys at Xiaomi have decided to introduce a couple of televisions that are no longer normally you would see them using the Google Android TV operating system, but they've just introduced a couple models that are using the Amazon TV Fire TV OS. Yeah. These models looks like they're mostly sold in Europe, but they're going to be a 43-inch to a 50-inch and a 55-inch model of the Xiaomi F2 series, and they are going to be running the Fire OS system. So Are people jumping ship? From
No,
Chromebooks?
this was notable when we talked about Hisense like last week or the week before, mainly because people were questioning the like non-compete kind of thing that Google usually does for if you're going to use their Android platform, you need to be faithful to them. And Hisense moved away, and they produce Android TVs. Now they're also producing the Amazon, which we already knew they were. They were just branded as Amazon TVs. But this is notable because this is yet another company that is stepping out on Google.
Yeah,
and go ahead.
I think that probably this is indicative of Google's shift in their contract and policy.
Yeah.
Probably as a result of communications from places like the European Union. This is highly anti-competitive behavior to lock people in, like lock an organization into not being able to use other options. So it may have been able to slip by US law, but I would be really surprised that European Union policies weren't going to prohibit this kind of stuff. And their recent trouble with the European Union probably is the same kind of pushing this change in contract. So really, this doesn't indicate any kind of departure from Google, in my opinion. Mm-hmm. It simply indicates that now that they have the option, they're also going to include Fire TVs.
So, but the Hisense story we talked about a week ago or whatever, that was U.S. market.
Right.
And
no, but if you're going to make changes in your contract internationally, you probably just do it everywhere.
Yeah.
The concern would be if the European Union found your behaviors to be anti-competitive, then it might come.
Okay. No, I was reading what you were saying as this was not a sign of anything changing here. I gotcha.
Everywhere, but just Google loosening that contract.
Yeah.
Companies feeling like, hey, I can do Fire TV too. Let's get more of the market because they want people like me.
The cynic in me sees this as Google giving up on Android TV, or
there is that.
Which is something that I would not be surprised if tomorrow they said, that's it.
Sadly, I would not be surprised too.
I would be fairly angry, but I would not be surprised. Especially considering another story we're going to talk about here in a minute.
Check out the profile picture of that television. Doesn't that look unusually thick?
Well, these are cheap TVs. That, this is a TV where you can get a 60-inch for less than $400.
Yeah, it's almost thick enough to have a picture tube in there.
No. This is your standard. The bevel on the side didn't photo well, so it looks thick as my plasma, but it's not.
Your plasma from year 1999?
No, 2010.
I think
that's still my primary TV.
The bezel is small, but the profile is beefy. Right?
It is. I mean, but that's the way a lot of the you look at the bottom budget TCLs and Hisense are similar.
This is a design which is obviously the front half of it was all LCD design, and the back half was all the electronics piece of it.
Yeah.
It's just, they melded it together.
I'm just saying.
Nobody's going to look at the back of the TV anyways. It's covered by a giant LCD screen. So.
Yeah, and that's the thing that you're not going to nitpick at this price level.
Needless to say, you're not going to hang it on the wall.
Oh, yeah, you would.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think you definitely could. I don't think this is as cheap as you're seeing it to be, though. The 430 pounds is
is a lot of money.
$600.
Oh, I'm just saying that Xiaomi as a company, their products are usually in that budget tier. But that's all.
To be fair, $600 US seems like a lot for a crappy 55.
Yeah.
But I have no idea what TVs cost in Europe or in
True.
the UK. And so 429 pounds may be an amazing deal in England. So it's more money US dollars than it sounds like, but it's not necessarily.
And that's also list price. That's not actual sale price. Yeah. So you can take
$100 off.
Yeah, take 20% off the top. But and based on my experience with Xiaomi, I don't think I would pay $600 for a Xiaomi anything. The $25 I paid for the Mi TV was fine for the 6 months I used it before it went back in the box. Yeah. But all right, what else is going on with Amazon?
So Amazon is not pulling a Google. Not exactly.
Really?
Amazon is discontinuing a product. You know, that sucks. But to compensate for that, they're trying to cover for it. Amazon is ending support for their old Cloud Cam. This is a camera that came out 5 years ago, which allowed you to stream and to save the information saved onto it into the cloud. That service is being discontinued, and your Cloud Cam is going to become useless. But instead of just, leaving it there, the guys at Amazon have decided to offer you a replacement Blink camera. This is a relatively less expensive camera, but has similar features as the original Cloud Cam. They will be able to have access to most of the features of it. One feature that the Cloud Cam could do is it was able to connect to your doorbell and things like that. And it looks like for the users who had that special model set up that way, they're offering a little an Echo Show to provide you that access in its place as well. They're basically trying to fulfill all what you were using before with the old device with this new setup, but then for free.
I will say they are doing the right thing.
So no, I would argue that they wanted to do the right thing. They should have done exactly what they're doing now. Good on them. Great. But also send out one last firmware update or release the source code for it and say, now it's useful without services. You can put it on your NVR, whatever you want to do.
What I was trying to say was they are doing the right thing by giving out a free Blink camera to replace the existing camera.
Agreed.
Yeah, but yes, I agree that they should unlock those cameras so that people can do whatever the heck they want with them.
Amazon, I'm talking to you, but not just you. I'm talking to everybody out there who makes a device that has services that eventually you say, we're done with these services. Your device is a brick now. Great. I don't care if you do that, as long as you allow, say, we're done with it and you can hack it all you want, or here's the source code, do what you want with it, or we're going to do one last firmware update that gives you the features to do what you want to with your own services or separate services, or we put a server on the internet and it's going to be funded by some way. You have to pay a monthly fee outside of us to have this by third party. We spun out or we sold it to a different company. The rights to this, whatever. Make it so it is not a paperweight. That we need less stupid electronics sitting around not being used in the world, not more.
Or just make it out of biodegradable stuff so that you can throw it in the trash. But as long as the company is replacing it with a like product, I don't get as angry about it not being unlocked. It's when they leave the customer hanging with a thing that you paid for a service and then you never get a replacement. You're just basically out the money and you can't use the device. That drives me crazy. And I absolutely agree.
completely agree with you 100%. I am not giving them a bad time because they're actually doing the right thing for the first half of that part. I give them praise for it. I just want the next step.
Yeah, Google, when are you gonna unlock and release the source code for the Google TV?
Well, all of it, just everything they've ever done.
Yeah, everything
Actually,
that you've canceled.
Technically, there's a
think they've
lot of
done-
source code out there already.
I know.
So a couple things. First of all, I completely agree with both of you. I'm less annoyed about this for the fact that they are going to provide a solution. I have one of the Amazon Cloud Cams, so I will let you know how smooth this is and how easy it is to get my Blink. Or if for some reason I don't qualify, because I did buy it from Amazon in 2018. So maybe it only qualifies if you bought
No,
it
it
in the
should
last
be.
years or whatever.
Should be
But
fine.
We'll see. So I'll see what happens there, and I'll let you know. I also wholeheartedly agree with Matt. I think, there's certainly ways that you can hack it yourself, but that's more work than it's worth for
Then
a
needs to be.
$40 device.
Well, it was $120.
Oh, yeah. I mean, that may be.
That's one benefit of the new Blink Mini. The Blink Mini is $35 as opposed to the $120
Yeah.
of the Cloud Cam. So
Yeah, I got it on one of those Amazon Day
gotcha.
deals where I got it and several other things for a discounted price. So it was like, I think I got my Ring doorbell and that and an Echo or
Okay.
something like that for 200.
I just saw the catch. So yes, the Blink Mini is $35, but the Blink service is $100 a year.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Or it has $100 value. I don't know. Understand. Yeah, I think they're giving you a free year. Yeah, the Wise camera service for 3 devices for a year is $14. I think I'm going to stick with Wise.
Even though they're in the hot seat for being bad and horrible with their stuff. and all that.
Yeah, the same people that are criticizing that are criticizing everything else I love. So I kind of tuned out.
You would be wise.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And again, I'm not worried about that because it's tied to an account that if they were to get control of it,
Right.
it doesn't have any of my actual legitimate personal information. So
You don't want
whatever.
them looking at whatever your camera's looking at, though, right?
Ooh, you can see my driveway and you can see all the recordings of the cars driving by that I specifically tell it not to record.
All right. Let's move on. Google has taken their Duo platform. Remember Duo? This is the way that you could have a nice voice chat from one person to another. This is along with their other chat platforms they've had out there. And well, Duo was not a success. That's not actually that surprising because it's Google. But they've gone ahead and they're going to take the Duo platform and merge it into the Meet platform.
So they're making Hangouts. The thing they divided to make Duo and Meet.
Well, it was Duo, and there was another name for the other one, I forget. But Meet was their attempt to make a Zoom competitor. But
Yeah.
Meet is out of all the various recent incarnations of all this, Meet has been the successful one compared to everything else. So they're bringing all the Duo users into Meet. Yes, it is now going to be called Google Meet everywhere.
Is Google Meet vegan friendly?
It's spelled MEET, so there's no meat in there in Meet.
So remind me, what did Duo do?
It was intended for the one-to-one video conversation on a phone. Very, very Apple FaceTime like. It was supposed to be that very easy to get in touch with somebody else
Yeah, I think it was like Duo for like one-on-one.
Right. That was the intention for that. It started off as the one-on-one kind of solution.
All I ever used was Hangouts and Meet.
Right.
So
Yeah. So just call it Hangouts and be done with it.
Well, I'm sorry, they killed that. They can't bring it back.
Yeah, they can.
Even if they, the funny thing is, if they did, I bet you the internet would cheer.
Exactly.
The internet would be so happy.
That's the point. They killed Google messaging.
Yep, Google Talk.
Or yeah,
G-Talk.
it was. Well, there was Google Talk. There was messages, or I don't know what it was.
Messages
It was
is still a thing. Messages is still a thing. That's their SMS.
Yeah. One of them went away and became, it became
What was the one?
Hangouts. And then they killed Hangouts and did Duo. And then there was another one that was just text.
Yeah, it was. This is the one we tried to use. It was called.
Yeah, we used it a lot.
Yeah, but it was another one that sounded like Duo. I forget what it was.
Yeah.
Trying to get the old article.
And then they killed that. And then they did Meet. I don't know.
We did a couple episodes with Google Hangouts, didn't we?
Yes. Because Hangouts was the way you could stream directly to YouTube initially.
Oh, yeah, that's right. And that was actually cool back in the day. That was the coolest thing.
Yeah.
I love you, but I hate you.
Yeah.
This is, I mean, the part about this that kills me is like their utilization and naming plan, right? Like they're going to have Duo become Meet and Meet become Original Meet. Or Meet Original. I mean, really, this is stupid. Not only that, but try a different name.
Can we get to the meat of the issue?
Exactly.
Just call it Hangouts Classic.
I want to get me some original meat.
Hey, can we bring back ICQ?
It just sound wrong so many ways.
I
missed what you said.
I said, can we just bring back ICQ?
Yes.
It's still around, technically. I think
Yeah, technically. Who owns AOL right now? They need to bring back AOL Instant Messenger.
ICQ is how I met my wife.
I remember getting on dial-up just so I could catch my ICQ messages and chat for a little bit. Oh my goodness, it was so great.
Yep.
All right, we're going to talk about Sonos. Sonos has announced and released their voice control voice services for their devices. This allows them for you to talk to your Sonos speakers, much like you talk to the Google Assistant or the Amazon Assistant or the Apple Assistant, whichever assistant you wish to talk to. And in particular, you can talk to Sonos by saying, "Hey Sonos," and asking for it to play music on various services. They're including their own and the many others that they cover, from Apple Music, Amazon Music, Pandora, Deezer, Sonos, and Sonos Radio. So it's going to be pretty focused on the music side of things. I'm not certain if it has anything else, like, does it have any, like, asking for timers or looking up stuff on the internet? Maybe it doesn't, and maybe that's a good thing.
Yeah, I don't know. We had done talked about this a couple weeks ago when they announced that there was something coming. And I don't think there was a lot of info.
Before that, we talked about them stopping putting Alexa on.
Yeah.
Never mind. On their devices. So I think it's, I mean, they already had voice assistants on their devices. I don't see the reason for this unless they believe that they have some
deeper integration,
incredibly compelling feature that they can add. And I just don't know what that would be.
Yeah, there's got to be some sort of deep integration that they didn't want to give to the third parties.
Yeah, hopefully.
I mean, that's the only reason to roll your own. Yeah.
Maybe this is a voice assistant that operates fully on device. Much more limited set of functionality.
Yeah.
Fewer commands that it understands.
It does say all requests are processed locally on the speaker with nothing transmitted to the cloud or back to Sonos.
Because people that are
that's a selling point.
security. And
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That means I don't have to figure out ports and traffic stuff so that I can shut it down on the firewall.
Yeah, that's actually a pretty compelling justification right there. Personally, I give my entire life over to Amazon. I've sold my soul, so it doesn't really matter to me. But for everybody else that isn't,
You sold your soul for remote control?
Exactly. So, yeah, I think that is a compelling reason. So there
He
we
sold
go.
his soul for 2-day shipping. I sold my soul for Google Maps, so it's all good.
Oh, I sold my soul to Google too. They're gonna have to fight it out when I die.
I for both I've created fake souls.
You got an LLC soul?
I've got like basically homunculus accounts that
There you go.
Limited liability.
You were warlocks.
I prefer the term alchemist.
All right. If you are on Instagram a lot, we get it. You're on Instagram a lot. A lot of people who get on the Instagram, it's like their thing, and they're like in it all the time, and they're just constantly looking at various things on Instagram. It's almost like it's trying to be Facebook. Moving on, the guys at Instagram are starting to look at the idea of pushing Amber Alerts through Instagram.
So is this what up to the minute updates on what Amber Heard is saying about Johnny Depp? That sounds very Instagram.
If there isn't
feel
an
hilarious.
Amber Alerts, either Twitter or Instagram thing doing funny memes about Amber, that should have already happened. I'm surprised if that hasn't happened. Well, no, this is your missing child, missing somebody in your area. They say they're going to try to limit it to your area, which I don't believe because they already do that for Amber Alerts. And
But the thing
mean,
is, my mobile device never knows where I am. It always thinks I'm in Chicago or St. Louis based on my IP. Because I typically don't allow location services for apps like these.
The Amber Alerts and things like that work great for me. It only lets me know stuff that happens in Texas.
exactly, me too.
Which is
6 hours away.
8 hours away.
Like, yeah, same thing for Matt. He only gets alerts for Texas.
No. There's a blue Chevy van parked somewhere in the southwest corner of Austin. Look out for it. Why do I care?
Doesn't your phone that this app runs on already send you Amber Alerts?
So technically phones have Amber Alerts built into the operating system itself, where it is a part of the operating system, and it automatically does this with no app requirement whatsoever.
So now you'll get 2 Amber Alerts.
Well,
Correct.
this will alert you if you're not. Let's say you're on your PC, you're at work, you have your phone in a pocket or whatever, and you're cruising Instagram at your desk, you would see these alerts.
And you would still have it going off in your pocket.
Yeah, it would still be going off in your pocket.
Airplane, it'll go off, whereas so I mean, I don't know what you can do while you're on an airplane unless the alert is notifying somebody is on a plane. But no, I mean the thing that
There's an Amber Alert on Spirit Airlines flight 32 to
exactly
Anchorage.
that's
So as soon as you get over that state, and it stops alerting.
Yep.
once you get past the state. No, one thing, if you look at the pictures from this article, and I don't know if this is representative of what is reality, but they are showing the alerts going out with images of the missing children, for example. And so that is actually kind of compelling, whereas like via the alert system, it doesn't have the ability to send any media. It's just basically an SMS type message. So that could be useful, especially if they could show images of the people that are recent and usable. Might make it easier to identify the person.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, no, I don't see a problem with this.
I I'd rather see a more sophisticated solution provided for everybody.
You want to see all children chipped so that they can just be immediately identified?
Barcodes on the neck, so we can scan them. But no, I mean, the problem to me is that
The Book of Revelation.
I was to say Dark Angel.
yeah. No, I like the idea of having this, but I don't use Instagram personally.
I don't either.
It wouldn't help me, so I wouldn't get any of it.
No, but the problem is the one problem I do see is that if they're doing it on Instagram, they're also doing it on Facebook, which means if they're doing it, then it's going to happen on all the other platforms.
Mm-hmm.
So you're going to get like 20 different alerts for the same alert on your device.
On each of your devices.
Exactly.
Because I already get Amber Alerts on each of my
It was
devices.
bad enough when there was a tornado warning the other day and I had devices all over my house going off. And by the time I would get to one to silence it, another one was going off.
Yep.
Now imagine that times like 5 on. Yeah.
Oh, thank you, sir. I do not like it. Hey, so we've been talking about Xbox and Xbox Cloud streaming. Xbox Cloud streaming announced originally, maybe like half a year ago, that they were working on a streaming stick where you to make it easier for you to stream your games on it. Last month or two, they said that they were gonna have it done by next year, which is something they kind of said last year. So it was an interesting, interesting. They feel like they need another year. We have another report here today saying that they are looking at the device again with new eyes. They're looking at changing their approach to how they're doing their streaming with the device. No real details, just that the fact that their reason for the whole reset of the timeline here of how long it'll be until it comes out is because they have taken what they originally were thinking of doing, essentially starting over from scratch, and are starting to look at this slightly differently, making it so you can be able to stream and play games without an actual console. So
I think this reads as them addressing what was previously a rumor.
Right.
Because, the announcement before, it wasn't like Microsoft saying, hey, we're doing this. It was someone saying, hey, I know Microsoft is working on this, and now this is just Microsoft coming out and saying, yeah, we were, but
right.
Don't get your hopes up.
Yeah, they've taken what they were possibly working on, and now they're starting over.
Which is normal R&D, anyway.
I mean, this is the difference between Google and Microsoft, right? Microsoft takes forever to implement a solution. They tend to do it very well, but way too late. Like Zoom.
Mixer?
And Google releases it immediately in like beta format that's really like sub-alpha level.
Right.
And then it gets canceled because everybody adopts it, and then it goes complete.
No, they wait until it turns 1.0, then they cancel it. Besides, that's what's important to know.
Because you can't cancel something if it's still beta.
Right. Well, you can, but
it doesn't count. That's like if a tree falls in the forest and nobody's there to hear it. No, it didn't make any sounds.
No, that's more like if the tree falls in the wood and the tree had not grown more than the size of a twig, it didn't make a sound anyways.
It bursts into flames. Does it? Yeah.
This is a scream in agony. No, but no, but Mike, you forgot a very important detail behind Microsoft and how all of their products work. Version 3.0 is the one that works well. Mm-hmm. Always. Everything that they've ever made, the third iteration of it is the one that works well.
Hey, remember Windows 7, aka Vista 3.0? It really was. It was like Vista Service Pack 2. They just changed the name so that people wouldn't hate it anymore.
Look at the devices and the new features. Other than Microsoft Office and Windows, Xbox is an exception. They actually somehow managed to succeed with Xbox. But you look at the Zoom, it was better than the devices out at the time. the Windows Phone, better than the other phones out at the time. They just always come too late to the party to actually get adoption in any meaningful way.
Yeah, I mean, their first generation Xbox, the reason it became so well adopted was because they were careless and it was easily hackable. That's the only reason I got one. They were kind of struggling to gain a foothold at the beginning, but then once people figured out, oh wait, this is just a PC in a portable box, and so yeah, I don't know. We'll see. I'm curious to see what they come up with, and I'm curious to see if it makes sense in the marketplace, because that's really the roll of the dice when it comes to Microsoft.
I'd like to reiterate what I'm hoping eventually happens, and I don't care if it's Microsoft that does this. I want to have a hybrid approach behind this. I want a streaming service to basically ask the end using device, what are your capabilities? Oh, I am a full decked out gaming rig. I can render at 4K at this many frames per second with this many polygons on the screen with these features enabled. Great. I'm sending you the stuff so you do it. How can you do? I am a dumb $30 smartphone with a really crappy internet connection. Right. I'm going to be streaming it to you at this really low resolution in order for it to play on your device as best as your device can do. But you both get to play the game, because it decides between the two what it can do and dynamically picks what would be best.
Yeah.
The problem with that approach would be that you would have to install the game on your side if you were going to do anything.
In that case, I would totally make it so, hey, your game is capable of playing the games streaming, or we can install it on your device. We would just go ahead and click this button. We'll start installing. In fact, let's just start playing the game streamed while it's downloading and playing, or whatever, or start playing the first level, like other games will let you start playing.
Resolution's one thing, but network, there's got to be a limit when it comes to network, where you must be at this threshold, or you must meet this threshold.
But all of that can be figured out.
Yeah.
Seriously, all of that stuff can be figured out, and this is the kind of thing where, hey, my machine can. It's halfway decent. Okay, great. Well, we're going to go ahead and have you render the background. We're going to do all the foreground for you, or whatever.
I mean, all they got to do is make a Chromecast without Netflix, and they. I know. Because you can already do that with that's what the Android TV does, or the Google TV with Chromecast.
No, not quite exactly what I'm saying, but
yeah. I mean, because it kind of does. It does do that to an extent. It talks to your TV and says, "Hey, what functions do you have? What can I control?" Right. Whether it be external audio sources, network capability, resolution, all of that, and you can do Stadia natively on that device, which is essentially they're just trying to make a dongle so that you'll use their streaming game service without buying an Xbox.
Right.
That's all.
I know, and I understand, and I agree. Excuse me. I'm just saying that at the same level, I want this rich understanding of what the end device can do, and taking advantage of that end device when available, and just streaming it to you when it's not.
Can I make a recommendation?
What?
If that's what you want, make it.
I am not that good of a programmer. But
hire somebody.
I'm not that rich. It's okay. One thing at a time.
Get someone to work on spec. Open source project. Start an open source project.
That would be cool. All right. So if you are using
product device pathway.
Oh yeah, of course.
You call it the pathway.
Yeah, you could call it the pathway. That would be good. All right. If you are using Starlink and you are happy with the service you're getting from it, you may be disappointed when China decides to attack. Looks like China is looking at their options. They've been talking to their scientists and looking for ways to destroy or make Starlink satellites inoperable. They are literally looking at how they can take these things out.
They're going to end up building Faraday domes over all of their cities.
I don't know. I did not read much of this article. I just saw this and went, "Wow, this is amazing." That this is the kind of thing that's kind of scaring them.
Well, I mean, you got to figure that. I mean, look at the extents they have gone to limit what their population can access on the internet. People talk about the Great China Firewall,
Firewall China,
and Starlink poses a risk. Well, it poses a real risk from the government standpoint because they have no control over it. They can't make. And,
international security is exactly what Clyde's saying. It's the people being able to get information.
Yeah. And, if Starlink can just place satellites over their country and give their people access, I see why they're concerned. I am not in favor of their actions in any regard, but right. I understand why they would, and this doesn't come as a surprise, I guess.
My understanding of the Great Firewall of China is that it's pretty good, but you still can't stop the signal.
Previous job, we had a location in China, and getting our VPN from that office directly back to our office in Minnesota. It was fun. It managed to get it to work, but there'd be days where nope, because stuff would change.
Yeah. Reading this article makes me think of the Terminator theme song in my mind.
You hear the da-da-da-da-da.
Exactly.
Yep.
Exactly.
Not surprised. And I'm pretty sure that Starlink has thought about this already.
Oh, yeah. So when are they going to start going around the country?
But I mean, that's the thing is, if, low Earth orbit is within that country's airspace, right?
Right.
So they would need the country's permission, right? Theoretically.
Well, yeah, but
wouldn't they?
But it's also, I guess, not anybody's fault if they go up and shoot something.
But that's what I'm getting at. If I wanted, if the U.S. wanted to park a spy satellite over Russia in low Earth orbit, Russia's going to be pissed. And if, they're going to shoot it down, and we have no room to argue and say, hey, you're terrible for shooting down our thing. It's same situation. And they may not have to get permission, but I'm pretty sure they have thought about that.
Outside of the generally accepted range of sovereign airspace. So the space station can go over countries where it would not be legal for them to be physically, and it's not. Yeah,
but it doesn't sit there in one spot.
Well, it's not geosynchronous orbit, but it's still that same policy. Airspace is generally accepted to end at no more than 100 miles.
Yeah.
Low Earth orbit is generally like 120 miles.
Okay. The difference with the space station, though, is it's not always there. With these Starlink satellites, as one's leaving the area, another one's there. So there would always be there, which is where, where I'm kind of coming from. Where
I don't say that countries wouldn't get bent out of shape about it. I'm just saying that that's the generally accepted limit is up to about 100 miles.
Yeah. China's going to shoot them down and say, come at me, bro.
Mhm.
Yeah. Well, no, as this article indicates, that would not be financially reasonable because there would be, assuming Starlink wanted to have coverage, there would be lots of them to shoot down. It would be more likely to be a software attack.
Or an interference, or
But that's why I use the term "shoot them down" loosely.
Okay.
I
Attack them.
just in general disable. But yeah, it's come at me, bro. What are you gonna do about it? Last I checked, Starlink doesn't have a military, but I might be wrong.
You're making assumptions, I think.
Yeah.
Oh wait, no, sorry, they do. It's under their sister company, Tesla. They've been seeding their soldiers out into the population.
That's right. They're machines.
Mm-hmm.
They're robot warriors.
Yeah, I keep saying Skynet.
All right. If you like watching YouTube TV on your TV and wish you could have a little bit more control of what you're watching and maybe have a little bit easier access to some of the additional features on YouTube TV on that big screen TV, you can now use the YouTube TV app on your Android or iOS device to sync up with your TV's stream and make it so you can see what's going on there. You can see related content, make comments on TV shows. That's weird. And be able to control the TV and the stream and just watch the stream right both from your phone and from the TV. And that particular feature right there, I actually like.
Yeah.
And here's why. Because I'm sitting down watching a show, me and my wife. And I think, I'm going to get up and go get something out of the kitchen. I get up. I would love it if I could walk into the kitchen and have the phone and maybe be able to keep on watching without making my wife pause. That would be great.
You need the house that Bill Gates was talking about back in the early 2000s where the TV just follows you as you're walking. This I kind of like because you think of like Amazon's got their X-ray. It always annoyed me that, yes, I can click on the button and see info, but it pauses the video and that info comes up over the thing that I'm watching. So I have to decide, is it worth stopping the show to figure this out?
Right.
If I could do that, let's say X-ray function on a separate app that's tied to it, that'd be great. The controls can be useful. I assume there's going to be significant latency, though, in that, just because it's not communicating directly to your TV. It's got to navigate, one path or the other to get and find its way to. But overall, I think this is interesting.
It's the bathroom break feature.
Yeah, I like it because I've regularly had to open up something on my browser and then go to my YouTube history, click the video so that I could look at maybe the product that somebody's recommending and follow the link that they put, or to give them some, to make a payment or something. Now they got the super chats on, or whatever they call it, on the TV. So that's one step in the right direction.
Just a point of clarification. This is not YouTube. This is YouTube TV.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, is it?
Yeah.
This is YouTube TV. I know. It's so confusing because we're talking about YouTube on your TV, but
app. Like the TV should be the plural thing. They're the possessive thing.
No, you're right.
So I'm the confused one.
No, you're right, and that got me confused. So now, I don't like this as much.
It doesn't help you, but it helps me. I regularly...
So that explains why you were confused about the chat function.
I was.
Yeah, I am not someone who ever watches YouTube on my TV, so I have absolutely no use for this.
I always have YouTube running on a TV.
Although I do watch YouTube TV on my TV, where as God intended it. And God, have we mentioned how much I hate how Google names things?
Google does awesome things, but they do also do horrible things. I hate them. It's so horrible.
I like their products for the most part. I hate the names.
I don't know who does worse naming, Google or Microsoft.
I think they're equally bad in different ways.
Exactly, they're both bad in different ways.
You remember my rant when Google brought back Google TV?
Yeah.
Because it's just a bad move. Yeah, they brought back Google TV, the thing that is like marked as one of their biggest failures. Yet they won't bring back Google Meet or Hangouts because they'd have to admit their mistake.
I don't know.
And Paramount Plus is UPN. Get over it.
Can I talk about something else that's confusing?
Okay.
And Google and related?
All right.
Google TV, which is not the Google TV you're thinking of, because you were just talking about Google TV, the TV, the hardware device. No, this is Google TV, the app.
Well, that's what Google TV is now. It's an app on Android TV.
Yeah, sort of, but they have Google TV with Android. Yeah. It's now available on iOS. This is replacing the iOS app, which was the Google Movies, I think.
Yeah.
Google Play Movies. Yes, this is their replacement for that, which allows you access to all of that media that you had available on there before. Now available to you through this new app, the Google TV app, which will allow you to see all those things, and will give you control over any Android TV devices you have in that.
Yes, and this is the piece that I have been arguing is why Google shouldn't call it a Google TV, because this is that added feature that they put on Android TV that tracks what you're watching, right. And so it'll give you a hub for your next episode. You can go directly into it. It'll suggest other shows based on the stuff that you like and your watching habits. And it's slick. So it makes sense that they should have it on iOS. Because you know why?
Because there's a lot of people who have iPhones. Because
this has Netflix integration. Apple TV's version does not. So I think this could be useful to iOS users.
Well, Apple users have a similar problem with the Apple TV, the Apple TV Plus, and the Apple TV app.
And that's what I'm saying in regards to the Apple TV app that runs on their hardware. It does the same functions of keeping track of what you're watching, right, making suggestions and stuff. But like I said, it doesn't have Netflix integration. Google TV does.
No, well, according to this, it doesn't have content aggregation from Netflix. So maybe some Netflix stuff, but not aggregation.
Yeah.
If it has deep linking, that's probably pretty good.
Yeah.
All right. Here's an interesting one for you guys. The sports network NESN, which is the Northeastern Sports Network, the guys who carry most of the games for the Boston Red Sox and for the Boston Bruins, have decided that they didn't want to have them be necessarily be integrated into a bunch of cable services, and that being their only solution for getting access to it. They are now offering their own streaming service based on it. Now, how much does streaming service cost nowadays is, $10, maybe a little less, maybe a little bit more. Nope, this one's going to cost you. This is going to be $30, $29.99 a month for access to their service. This will give you access to live and on-demand games, so you can watch them whenever you want. And they have an annual plan. The annual plan is $329.99 per year.
There's a huge catch. Did you see it?
It includes 8 tickets to a Red Sox game of your choice.
That's not the catch. fans will still need access to ESPN or other broadcast networks for nationally syndicated games.
Correct. That has always been true for these.
I know, but that's what I'm saying. The $39 or the $30 price sounds okay until you see that. If I was getting all of the games and I was a Boston and a Bruins fan,
right, worth it. Totally worth it.
Totally worth it. Plus 8 tickets. All right. Yeah, of course the games are gonna be blacked out. It's like when you get free flight tickets for your airline and then you spend the rest of the year trying to find a day that you can actually use it.
I wonder. I feel like when I watched baseball regularly, I was able to watch most of the team's games.
Right.
On
because they play basically 5 days a week.
Yep.
Basically.
So,
and they're going to have 1 or 2 blacked out a week, and so you're going to have a lot of those games to watch, anyways.
Yeah, I felt like, I guess that's what it is. To me, it seemed like I got plenty of baseball with the solutions we had, and not having to pay $30 a month for an additional service.
Well, that's the thing is, and 30. It sounds good until you realize that you still have to pay for ESPN. And if you still have to pay for ESPN or whatever service you were using, you could probably save the $30 a month because you're probably getting most of the games.
Just go down to your local pub and watch the game there.
But that's what I'm saying. You're going to get most of the games over the other ways that you would normally watch the game. Anyway.
Unless your team is the Mariners, which point there's nobody shows their games very often.
Yeah.
So.
Well, does anybody actually show up for the games?
A couple hundred.
The thing here, I have to say, my biggest complaint about this is I pulled the story up without reading the whole headline, and the tab said NESN launches streaming service. I was convinced we were getting a Nintendo Entertainment System network. And then it's Boston Red Sox. I'm so disappointed.
I'm sorry, man.
Oh, wait. I thought it was a new Nintendo Entertainment System, but it was Boston Red Sox themed. Like when we got that Xbox that was like Halo themed.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Well, the original Famicom was kind of that white and red color, kind of Boston Red Sox color. So, yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Last story we have here is from Discord. This is a kind of a cool thing for anybody who likes to get on Discord. I know we all do, so I decided to throw it on here. If you get into a voice channel with guys in Discord, oftentimes you would be in that Discord with the voice channel, and the text chat for that same channel
is a different channel. Yeah.
Which was really annoying because sometimes you wanted to be able to see either people or people are typing or chat in there, and you'd have to make sure you're in both windows at the same time, essentially one way or another. They've integrated the two. They now will be in the same. They will be coordinate together. You will be able to chat with the your text people and be able to talk to the people at the same time. This is good news. I appreciate this.
Well, I don't really think this was an issue because when you're in a voice chat, it shows the list of people on the left. So it doesn't matter what channel you're in on the right, you still see who's talking. But if you're in a big enough room where you can't fit everybody on one vertical row, I'm going off of Movie Party where we'll have, on average around 12 people. So I can easily fit that. But this would be a little lower barrier or less barrier to entry.
What for me, it's quite frankly, hey, I threw this in the chat. Oh crap, where's the chat?
I was gonna say the barrier to entry has been the first time people come and do the thing, you have to explain to them where is everybody chatting. And then once they know that, it's not a big deal. But that first time, so you always get the, hey, I threw it in the chat. Which channel? Because on let's say the Diamond Party, even the VOD Squad, we've got a lot of different channels that could be used, and they all have different subjects. So, yeah, it's welcome.
Okay, I'm all for it too. And that is the week's news, everybody.
All right. Well, that brings us to the point in the show where we like to say thank you to nobody in particular. Just thank you.
We have a guy named Nobody. Is he a nice guy?
I don't know. I've never met him in person.
Oh, well, we're thanking him though. The guy named Nobody.
Yeah.
Okay, good.
He's the shortstop.
Who?
No, he's on first.
Oh, what?
Second base.
No, hey, we just want to say thank you to everybody that is a patron of this show. Everybody, we went from nobody to everybody because that's the way we roll. But it's not everybody. It's only the select everybody that supports us financially via patreon.com. I just did another transfer from Patreon the other day. I usually wait till the money gets to a certain threshold before I do the transfer over. And but the thing, what I'm saying is there's actually money there because there is actually people supporting us. So if you think we were just making up this whole thank you thing as a way to guilt you into Patreon becoming a supporter, yes, you are right. But there are also actually people that we are thanking. So if you would like to be one of those people, head on over to patreon.com/thebod squad. Sign up now. All right. We'll head over to some rants and some raves. All right. Who wants to go?
I think I know what Michael's going to rave about. So
Okay.
I'm going to let him rave about it because I would rave about it because I watched it too. But actually, well, I'm going to start with the fact that I watched Stranger Things, the first 6 or 7 episodes that are available now. Stranger Things has done an amazing job of taking the genre of what they are, kind of old horror, and making a TV show that's funny and cool and it's a little scary, but not too scary, and hitting all the right pop culture things. They've continued to do well with it. They have yet to jump the shark. They've done a good job with it. This season so far has been excellent. I know that we have another couple episodes they're going to drop in later. If you've enjoyed seasons 1, 2, and 3, you're going to like season 4. So feel free and enjoy.
I think it was in the first or the second episode, there was a thing that really irritated me.
Oh.
In the fact that this takes place in 84. 85. This season is 85.
Okay, I can remember.
Yeah, because he says that, class of 86, if he doesn't make it, whatever.
Okay. Gotcha.
So, but there is a song that's playing that is period correct.
Okay.
Except it's a modern cover by a different group. And it's just, why would you do that? And also, it's not even great. The original's better.
Very likely it was rights. They make, I know it's Netflix. They have enough money. They should have been able to make that deal. But
yeah, no, it's basically there is a lady singing a song that isn't sung by ladies.
It wasn't that horrible rendition of the national anthem that changed keys like 3 times.
No, that was part of the plot.
Was horrible.
Well, that was horrible by design.
It was so bad. Oh. All right.
But yeah, I don't know if I ever brought it up, but I watched the first season of Stranger Things, and I took it to be an anthology. So I was super confused when season 2 came, and it was a continuation of the same story.
So my understanding was originally was intended to be an anthology.
The point I was getting at is going into this season and after watching the last 2 seasons, I think they missed the thing that could have made it really special by making it an anthology.
Okay.
Because they've kind of had hit some spots where you're like, I know so many people that are like, I just fell off. But because it just kind of the same thing. How can we tell it a little bit different this time? I'm not super in love with season 4. Is it 4? Yeah, 4.
This is 4.
Yet, but we'll see. I haven't given up yet.
How many episodes are you in? Just a couple?
I don't know. I'm like maybe 3.
Okay. If it doesn't catch you, it doesn't.
I think when I was in and out of consciousness early this morning, I think I saw somebody in Russia getting yelled at by what I think is a prison guy.
There's a lot of that.
So I need to go back and rewatch whatever it was I was watching when I fell asleep. But I think that sums it up. I fell asleep while watching one of the episodes.
The Russia subplot is its own thing. You could watch it as its own thing, or you could watch it go without it. It is completely separate to the rest of the story, but it is a separate
spoilers.
Yeah. I definitely have not watched it, and I loved season 1, and I quite enjoyed the other 2 seasons as well. I look forward to watching it, but I haven't got the chance to start.
And don't get me wrong. I am not saying I didn't like the other seasons. I just don't think. I think they were missing what made that first season special, and it just kind of felt more humdrum. But yeah, I don't know.
Yep,
that's just me. So cool. What was Mike gonna rave about?
I have no idea.
Oh, you said you knew.
No, maybe.
So I'll go ahead. You actually reminded me. I had completely forgotten about it. Which
how could you forget about?
I shouldn't say that, but we watched it, I think, Sunday night so that my daughter wouldn't feel like she had to wait a week after it came out. And yeah, it was Sunday evening. We watched Kenobi, or Obi-Wan Kenobi.
So is that the wide area network Kenobi?
Yes.
Okay. Not the local area network, not Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Correct.
Okay.
I would say I have enjoyed it thus far. It is definitely a slower burn than most of the Star Wars content. And so my daughter felt like it was a little too slow. She still enjoyed it as well, but she did comment on how slow it was. I felt that it wasn't so slow that it was unpleasant, but it was a little slower than what most people are accustomed to. It was overall good. Also, there were some things in there that I wasn't super fond of. Very specifically, the head bad guy in the first 2 episodes was not I had expected. It was not what I expected coming from Rebels.
Right. There is it's more stuff if you've watched Rebels that you would, it ties into this. Now I have not seen Rebels, so but I've heard a little bit about that. And as far as the slowness goes, I actually think the slowness of episode 1 in particular is important. Episode 2 picks up the pace a bit. It actually starts doing fun things. But episode 1 is all about setting the mood of what Obi-Wan's been doing for 10 years. Yeah. And it's just been boring for him.
Yeah, I'm not saying that, like I said, I didn't find it unpleasant. Right. I said it's slower than what we have become accustomed to from Star Wars movies.
Agreed.
I said it's almost Star Trek-like in its...
Oh, where there's like whole
but I also
10
enjoy
seconds
Star
of
Trek,
listening to
so that's not an insult. That's just recognizing the differences between the 2 shows. I agree. I understand why they made that decision to make it slow. It's like, oh, his life has been boring for 10 years, so we're going to bore you for an hour so that you understand how bored he is. Again, I'm over exaggerating because I didn't find it boring, but it's almost like they were trying to do that. I think that there was very similar to Luke in Last Jedi. I didn't feel like what was happening seemed to be consistent with the person that we know as Kenobi up to that point. But it is 10 years later. There's thoughts and considerations to go into that. I was just, there were decisions that he made that I don't feel like were consistent with the kind of person Kenobi is overall.
Mike, you and I, after the show, we're going to nerd out a little bit about this.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. That's it. I also watched a couple of really cool videos on Memorial Day. A lot of companies out there that are military or veteran owned and stuff did commentaries. I liked Black Rifle Coffee Company's video that they did in honor of the fallen. And so that was cool. They are not a sponsor because we obviously have no sponsors. But if we ever got big enough to get sponsors, they would be one I would want to sponsor.
We would tell them no, but we would brag about the fact that they wanted to be our sponsor.
Yeah. You can offer us a sponsorship and we'll turn it down and then we can brag about it.
Yeah.
But we'll still sing praises to you.
All right. Cool.
All right.
Jimmy?
Yeah. I too watched the first 2 episodes of Obi-Wan Kenobi. I enjoyed the first couple episodes. But what I was watching over the weekend and maybe the last week or so, me and my wife has been watching some of the new episodes of Ozark. Enjoying that one. That one's me and her both are really into that. I haven't gotten through to the end of the final season there, but we're working our way through that one. Also, too, I'm enjoying Bosch Legacy, right? Although I agree with Clyde. I think Clyde said a couple of weeks ago, right? Yeah, hates the new theme song, and I'm there with him.
I get the need for a new theme song because it is a different show, but man, you could have tried to put some budget into it. I'm pretty sure that got put on an intern.
Right.
It's just like, get it done.
Yeah, it's nice to see some of the other characters come back into play. That was in the original Bosch.
Mm-hmm.
Although not all of them, I haven't got all the way through it yet, but not all of them have come back into play yet.
No, I mean, primarily minor. Hey, I don't want to spoil, but have you seen Crate and Barrel?
No.
Okay.
Oh yeah, I have seen them.
See, they need to be in the show a lot. They're retired. There is no reason they shouldn't be in the show a lot.
Yeah.
They were 2 of my favorite characters from the original series.
Well, his old partner, Edgar, right?
J. Edgar.
You don't see him in there, right? But he's got this new kid now that I think is kind of like the J. Edgar replacement, right? So which tells me that J. Edgar is probably not going to be in this new show here. And he was one of my favorites in the original, right? But he's got the new kid in there. And all.
Yeah, the new kid's more of an employee, kind of, rather than a partner. He's just a guy that he can go to and say, hey, I need a thing done.
Right.
I'm trying to think of what the guy's name was. He's basically it's the same as like the Lincoln Lawyer. Lincoln Lawyer had that other guy that I can't think of his name that did all the side computer stuff, and sneaking around.
Stuff? Oh no, Cisco.
Cisco, yes. So the guy that Jimmy's talking about is essentially Cisco on the Lincoln Lawyer.
Okay.
And
or maybe Q in James.
Yeah, it's one of those, or even Q in Star Trek. Can Picard go to Q and be like, "Hey, I've got this video. It's encrypted. Can you decrypt it for me? Thanks." Yeah. No, I'm glad you're enjoying it. When you're done, I'm curious to see what you think about there. In hindsight, there were several things that felt really rough and kind of contrived. Not enough that it detracted from my enjoyment of the show, but enough that it stood out. And I'd be curious to discuss it with you after when you're done. So.
Yeah, I'm really digging the father-daughter connection there, right? So anything where I'm a sucker for any show or movie, right, that has that father-daughter connection.
Yeah. Wait till you get to the last episode. I didn't know it was the last episode. I thought it was just an episode cliffhanger, but it's been a few weeks, and I'm going, oh no. I don't want to have to wait like another year or two to find out what happens. But yeah, speaking of continuing on existing IP, I've talked in the past about a Canadian show called Letterkenny. It's a show I really enjoy the show because of their use of their creative use of alliteration. There was a character on that show that was kind of a foil to certain characters, named Shorzy. They have created a spin-off show for this Shorzy character. He, basically in one of the last episodes of the last season of Letterkenny, you see Shorzy, he leaves town because he gets traded or whatever to a different hockey team. And it's a completely different show, which is great. It's got similar feel, completely new cast except for Shorzy, which is cool. But then again, you never really got to see Shorzy in the past because he was always a voice from the bathroom. Talking crap to the other people on the team. So I mean, I'm enjoying it. My only complaint is Hulu said start watching, and I clicked on I normally go in. I'm a creature of habit. Even if there's a button to start watching, I will go into the series, choose episodes, and then select the specific episode. I didn't do that this time. And I was watching it and I was like, this is a really weird way to start out a season.
Oh no.
And why is there no additional episodes? Why are they normally Letterkenny stuff is dumped all at once. I'm thinking, okay, maybe it's week over week. When I finished it, I was like, okay, so I'm ready for the next episode. That was a pretty good the way they ended the episode. And I go out to all episodes and find out, oh no, I watched episode 6 first. I clicked start watching and it played the last episode because it's the newest episode. And that is exactly why I never use that function. I don't trust it. Kind of like I've complained in Crunchyroll, how each language is considered a season. So if you're watching on a device where you can't turn off autoplay, you will reach the end of the season and it will autoplay the next episode, which is the first episode of that same season, but in a different language, which then completely screws up the tracking of what you've been watching. Yeah. It's been 10 years. Can't we get this stuff figured out and kind of unified? So really, this is a rant about technology and the inconsistencies in how we
Well, isn't that what
handle
this whole
things.
show is?
Exactly. This is my therapy, my weekly therapy. This show is the reason that I don't have to pay a so-called professional all of my money when I can just come on here and talk about the things that matter. And that being said, thanks everybody for hanging out for my therapy session this week. We are here every Wednesday night, 9 p.m. Central on YouTube. And the podcast is available if you want audio only. If you come live, you get pre-show, you get post-show, you get to submit titles, you get to talk to us directly. And Elite Wolf, that makes me feel okay. Okay. See right there, Elite Wolf was able to talk to me directly. You can't do that when you're getting the audio. So come watch us live sometime. Also, if you prefer the audio version, but you would like it a little bit quicker and on a regular schedule, become a patron. Get a custom RSS feed for as little as $1 a month. It's not too much to ask. All right. That's it. So,
Okay.
all right. I think that's all the time we have. Yeah, we will. We'll have to pick this back up in our next session.
I'll have to go get more time.
All right.
Oh, our session is okay.
Our session's over. So, all right. Bye.
Uh,
Diamond Club hopes you have enjoyed this program.